this video, I'm going to show you how I went from this to this. If you're interested, stay tuned. Hi, my name is Siobhan. Here, I mainly do braids, locks, and natural hair. On this channel, I'll take you along my natural hair journey and lots of other hair videos. Today, we are going to do a silk press. This is the second silk press since I've combed out my Microlocs. Yes, I had Microlocs in, I combed them out. I started with 2 strands and interlocked for about 4.5 years during my lock journey. Here, I just took out some mini braids that I kept in entirely too long, but I'm about to go and wash it, and I'm going to show you guys how I achieved the silk press this time. During the process of me combing out my Microlocs, I watched a ton, and I mean a ton of hair videos, and these are the products I decided to try. First of all, this is the face of a frustrated wash. I recommend you pre-poo, which I didn't do this time. Pre-poo and detangle your hair, especially after taking down braids. This is the leave-in conditioner I used. I sprayed all through my hair. That was the first thing I put in my hair after I washed it. I don't think I've ever put in a leave-in conditioner before flat ironing my hair previously. So this was something that someone recommended on the channel. Then I'm going to section off each section. And I'm going to add in all of the other products per section, and the hard part was trying to remember that I added everything per section. So this is the front. I'm going to section this off using a wide tooth comb, just detangling it a little bit, and I'm going to bend to knot it, put a clip on it, and I'm going to just do this through the other few sections of my hair, and I'm going to start blow drying in the very back. My hair is still damp from the wash, and of course then I put the leave-in conditioner. You saw me spray that throughout my hair. I was just telling someone the other day that the natural hair community has really changed, as far as there's been a lot of tips and tricks that have come out that at least I didn't know about when I first went natural years ago. So I appreciate all the hard work y'all been doing and helping out a sis. It's still hard work. My arms were very tired from just all this detangling, but that leave-in conditioner helped for sure getting through these tangles. And I had the tangle teaser in the shower, which was very beneficial. I also have the unbrush, but I use the tangle teaser mostly in the shower. But since I had those mini braids in, it was a challenge trying to get all of my hair detangled while standing in the shower. So that's why I recommend the pre-poo with some oil and water before, like I did that before, and I didn't have that bad of an issue, but I didn't do it this time thinking I can just go in. But I think having in those mini braids, that affected how tangled my hair was. So detangling before is very helpful. And when I was natural initially, like years ago, we didn't know anything about the unbrush or the tangle teaser or certain brushes. We just was having a struggle time. I know I was struggling. So this is the section I'm going to start blow drying first, this back right quad. So I'm combing it out a little bit more thoroughly here. I'm going to section off into smaller sections, and I'm going to start blow drying. This is the Tresemme Keratin Smooth Blowout Heat Protectant. There are a lot of different heat protectants you can use. This was the one I came across, and I sprayed that section a few times, and I'm going to put the rest of the products in. This is the next heat protectant / humidity resistant. It's the Wow. This is just the regular strength. It's not the extra strength, and I sprayed this a few times. From my research and my video searches, I found out that if you get the blow drying process fairly straight, you'll have a better successful silk press. So my initial flat ironing process was completely different. So starting at about 343, I have this paddle brush, which was very handy. I'm going to detangle this section a little more, and one of the processes or techniques I saw someone use was the blow dryer in the concentrated area, just pulling my hair taut. No brush or comb, just pulling my hair taut and focusing on the roots and the long parts of the hair, not the ends yet. And when I get that mostly dry or all the way dry, I'm going to grab the paddle brush and I'm going to target the ends with the blow dryer and the rest of the, just from the roots all the way to the ends. And you see my hair is already straightened, blown out a little bit. This paddle brush I got from Amazon, which was really great. I do apologize that I am not showing the bottom of the screen. The video is cut off there. I thought I had my camera set up fairly well, but my hair is a lot longer than it's actually. My hair has never been this length. So yeah, I just wasn't ready, so I'm gonna try to do better, y'all. But this brush was really good. I think it's an ion brush. I'll try to put that in the description or a picture of it or something so y'all can check it out. My hair had gotten so much more straighter than my previous blow dry. Like my previous blow dry, my hair was still an afro. So I'm already off on a good start in my opinion. So I'm getting the hair as dry as I can and as straight as I can on this first blow drying. Like this brush was really great, and I had to learn like all this stuff, y'all. I do braids. I didn't go to cosmetology school. I just been a braider like my whole life, so I didn't do all that. So I just went through a little bit to make sure it was dry, and I'm just gonna speed a little bit of this video up to get the rest of the blow drying on camera. And remembering to get all the tangles out. I used the wide tooth comb first in this shot, and then I believe I'm going to go in with the paddle brush to get it really. Nope, I didn't do that this time. Okay. I recommend you use the paddle brush or an unbrush, something to get all those tangles out. I don't know why I was tripping, but I'm gonna get the paddle brush in a minute. But hold that hair really tight, really taut, and as you get those roots. And then when you grab the brush, you focus on the ends and get your hair really dry and as straight as possible. So I'm gonna clip this hair over here because it keeps getting in the way. But holding that hair really tight with the brush, focusing on the roots, on the ends, just keep going until it gets straight and all the way dry. Just trying to get it as straight as possible. And that's what I've learned from watching a lot of videos and reading a lot, and that's one of the tips that I think has helped me get a much better silk press. This is me trying to make sure I get the back, the roots. Sometimes it's hard to see back there, but you can kind of feel when your roots got those little ripples in it, and or if it's still a little damp. So I'm just trying to show y'all a little bit of the back and making sure it's thoroughly dry and thoroughly straightened as much as possible. So when I finished that section, I decided to go ahead on and twist it up into a bantu knot. I was actually considering what was I going to do because I was going to start on the other side, the left side back of my head, but I remembered I wanted to do an experiment with the products to see if it made any difference. So I'm going to tie this back left, back up. I just finished the back right, and I'm actually going to do the front. So this has been, it started at 3:43, about 3:45. And it's now 4 o'clock, so that was about 15 minutes or so. This is me spraying the heat protectant. Sorry it's not on camera. This is the heat protectant here. As I saw the nozzle, I can tell. My hair was very, very tangly and kind of painful. And that was the Wow anti-humidity spray that I put on there next. And if you can see here, you can see those edges. Yeah, those mini braids, I kept them in too long. My edges were they were broken off. It was a little bit of a struggle to witness all that hair coming out when I took those braids down. So don't keep them in for 2 months, okay? Especially being as small as I had them. I had the ones in the front a lot smaller, and they were braided just not really too tight, but they were like, I put them up in styles. I washed them in there. So I'm just gonna watch how and see how my edges will eventually grow back, of course. Like, my first blow dry was nothing like this, and the shrinkage is definitely real, guys. But apparently shrinkage means your hair is healthy. So that side took another 23-24 minutes. I noticed my hair was getting a little dry, so I spritzed it with a little bit more water to get it moisturized again. And I'm going in first with the Tresemme heat protectant spray. Then I'm going to detangle a little bit, and then I'm going to go in with the Wow humidity resistant spray and work that in a little bit. I apologize, I'm not on camera there. I'm splitting my hair in another section, a smaller section. I put the other hair away in a clip, and this time I actually did use the paddle brush. I remember using that thoroughly before I blow dried. I don't know, it was early on in the process, so maybe I didn't do it properly. And here I remembered is when I'm going to do that experiment. I'm going to test this side of my head with this skinny serum. I think it's a super skinny serum by Paul Mitchell. It's supposed to help speed up the drying time. It's humidity resistant and it helps control frizz. I believe I got it from Amazon, but I'm sure it's a number of places you can get it, like Ulta, maybe even Walmart. I'm sure there are other serums that do the same thing. Let me know in the comments if you know of some that works well for you so I can give it a try. Now, I only put the Paul Mitchell skinny serum on the left front of my head. I was just trying to test it out and see if it actually made a difference. So I don't think I put a whole pump of the serum on after I split it into two sections, the very front. On the left, I think I put like maybe half a pump. And then this is the second half a pump I think I put on this section. So I detangle really well, and I take the blow dryer and do the same process as I've done in the other quads. Stretch it, get the roots really well, then grab the brush and finish blowing it out as straight as possible. I didn't initially notice a difference. It could have been that I wasn't really paying attention as far as the speeding up the drying time as what the Paul Mitchell is said to do or to be able to do. But after, I was wondering why a side of my head was puffier than the other side. I was so frustrated. Like, after I flat ironed it and everything, it was all nice and smooth, but it was like as the time went on, I would look in the mirror and I'd be like, why is this side puffier than the other? But I had completely forgot that I had tried to experiment with the Paul Mitchell skinny serum. So the side that had the Paul Mitchell skinny serum was staying silkier, it was staying straighter than the side I did not use it on. I will insert some of those videos and pictures. Okay, I just have video, but this is the video of the same day I straightened my hair, and you can see that this right side is a lot puffier than the left here. And this is the next day after I flat ironed it. This is day 2. It just kept getting puffier, and this side kind of stayed the same, my right side and then my left. So that skinny serum made a world of a difference as far as keeping the frizz down. So I highly recommend. I have now finished blow drying my entire head. My hair is all dry. It is soft and fluffy, not too much product. I am actually going to save the flat ironing process for the next day. So I'm going to pull my hair back in a ponytail and go to bed, and in the next day in the morning I'm going to begin the flat ironing process. And here is the next day. I just threw a do-rag on my hair, just something to tie it down with as I slept. This is the next morning. I'm going to flat iron my hair with some BioSilk. In reference to the skinny serum, I must mention that I didn't know what I did until I was like recording myself going through every step that I had taken up into flat ironing and finishing up, like doing my entire process of my hair, and I was going through every product, and I remembered I did do something different That's why one side is puffier than the other. So I figured it out later, but I at least figured it out. This is the BioSilk I'm using. I started at about, I think that's at 370 with the flat iron. I didn't stay there. I actually went up, I believe, to a higher temperature. I actually burned off my hair the first time I used the flat iron. It was a really old flat iron. And in the back of my head on my left, I have a really short patch of hair because I burned off my hair with the flat iron. So I'm trying to be very careful to not do that again. So I bought a new flat iron and I started it very low. But eventually I am going to go up, I believe, to 410. Y'all, I attempted to use this brush thing, this bristle thing, to chase the flat iron. It didn't really work well for me. That was me right there testing my hair to make sure, because I'm like, if I'm going to test it, I'm going to burn it off. I'm going to burn the ends off and not the not so close to the roots this time. So I tested it and it didn't smell like burnt hair or anything. So, but it wasn't getting like straight enough for me. So I kept trying for a little bit, but eventually I switched over and just used the rat tail comb, which is what I was more familiar with. So I did give it a try. Maybe I'll try it again, and maybe I'm using it wrong. If you know, let me know. But I just decided to go ahead and switch over to the rat tail comb. In addition to that, I did turn the heat up to about 450. Can you do me a favor, bring me your purple mirror, Pamela? Put it on the cards. Make it sweet, girl. Get back this. I'm not going to entirely give up on the little red brush thing. It could have been just the temperature not being hot enough, but I'll test that out at another time. This is me showing the back, actually trying to get a good look at it myself. It's getting pretty straight. These are some pretty great results for the straightness of my hair that I've ever experienced. So I moved up the temperature. I bumped it up to 410. I'm going to go back over what I already flat ironed because it was on a lower heat setting. And I am going to continue to flat iron my hair in some fairly small sections and continue to use the little brush thing. I don't remember, I guess, when I switched over to the rat tail comb because the brush isn't looking too bad. Maybe it was the hair. There it is. That pass didn't look very well, so I think the ends I have such a hard time with because of the color treatment. So that's something to consider. I love the color, but the way my darker hair has been shining is like crazy, and it stays straighter towards where my roots are. Then when my ends, they're just puffy, or they just puff out. They just look more dull. They look more dry. So I don't know, maybe I need to do some type of treatment to it, to my ends, maybe like a protein treatment or something to try to revive my ends. But where my hair is unprocessed, is naturally the black or the dark color. It's been pretty shiny. It stays mostly straight. So that's something to consider. If you like color, you may have to sacrifice, maybe the look of health of your hair, or the health of your hair, however you want to put it. But I was still even pretty satisfied with this flat iron to help with that not looking so, I guess, dry and so noticeably puffy. I did often just curl my hair, and that kind of made the colored hair look a little more shinier. I used the flat iron a little bit more on my ends because I'm telling you, they were just really rough, and it was just very dry. So I think I'm eventually just going to cut all of the light hair, the colored hair off, because it's just a stark difference, even just combing through my hair. My black hair is just like so much softer and luscious and shinier. So that's just something to consider. Sometimes we do sacrifice that, because with my locks it didn't really matter, because I wasn't worried about the shine of my hair. That didn't really matter. The softness, like all that stuff, when your hair locks, it is going to automatically become harder and rougher, so it wasn't a big deal. But now that I don't have my hair in locks, it's a different look, and therefore I would prefer not to have that roughness. And now these ends they have just been a struggle. I have to go over them multiple times. Like, I think I go over them twice just to get it to look like the same consistency as the black part of my hair, which it works. But over time, it seems like the ends they revert quicker. So I'm mostly done. I have another quarter left of hair to do. It's 11:43, and I'm just going to continue to flat iron my hair. This is the serum that I've been using, the BioSilk. That's about how much I use for this entire section. Still focusing on the ends because that is my roughest part. That's my most challenging area. And listen, by the time I got to this side of my head, I had learned some things, and I had just became a little pro, okay? This is a lot of hair, and I was able to figure out how to hold the comb properly and the flat iron and chase it, and I was just had a little bit of a flow going on here, and it just became easier. So I still continue to go over the ends twice, but mostly just one pass doing the rest of the hair. But and that's kind of seems backwards. Usually I hear other people saying they do a double pass towards the roots, and then the ends, since they're the oldest, they only make it like one pass. But since I've been doing mine, it's just been a little bit reversed. And those my edges, they trying to grow back, y'all. I've been struggling. I'm gonna tell y'all one more time, don't keep them mini braids in longer than they need to be. And mine was too long for 2 months, so I'm just saying. And y'all should be able to see about here that these presses are a lot more thinner. They are a little bit more shinier than that the right side. I thought it was because time had passed and the right side had just started to revert sooner, but it literally stayed like puffier on the right and less puffy, less frizzy on the left because of that serum that I use, y'all. It's a big difference here, and that looks like perfect right there. And then this side started to revert. So myself, I told you I didn't remember, so I put some more BioSilk on there, and I'm gonna run the flat iron through it again, thinking that's the issue. But I remembered later on, oh my goodness, look at that, completely different on each side, just two different looks. I mean, it turned out well overall, but that skinny serum really had a positive effect on my hair. But as I said, I didn't really know what happened. I figured it out later, but I'm gonna bring this flat iron back over on this right side. I added a little bit more of the BioSilk to see if I can smooth it out. I was just thinking it's because it's reverting like it always has been. It reverts back to its natural state. But I was completely wrong. And when it hit me, I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff is really working. And so that's a big deal to me. I didn't spend so much money on products that just doesn't work or didn't work. And that's frustrating. So to actually find some things that work, I appreciate the naturalistas and the people who are straight natural or heat trained, whatever you want to call it, that have shared their secrets and the tips. Not only products, but you also need to know methods and techniques, okay? It's 12 o'clock. I started at about 11 o'clock, so that took about an hour to flat iron my whole head, which is just great in my opinion. With all this hair, and this is me just giving myself a little bit of a little dusting here or trimming here. I want to slowly maybe trim off all of the colored hair. That's my plan, but knowing me, I might be to dye my hair again. So I do love the color, but I don't really, of course, like the way it makes my hair feel so different from the rest of my hair that isn't colored. Okay, that's pretty much the end of the video. I'm just going to lightly bump the ends to not have them look so, rough. And you can see the right side of my head is reverting, and the left side looks a little more put together, more or less frizzy. I definitely still highly recommend the Skinny Serum. Let me know in the comments if you have or know of some other products that could help with this frizz. I appreciate it, and thanks in advance. But before I go, I want to leave you with this. Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. That suggests a total surrender of our plans and actions to God, trusting Him with the outcome. When we commit our plans to the Lord, we can trust that He will align our plans with His perfect will. I am not only a braider, I'm actually an artist. I paint portraits and do murals and things of that sort. And over the years, I have decided to really commit everything I do to the Lord, including my businesses. He knows best, so we have to trust Him in everything. So I want to encourage you to do the same. I love His Word. I also have a channel where I study the Bible and encourage believers to grow in Christ. If you're interested, I will have the info in the description box down below. Thanks again for watching, and be blessed.